College has come under fire over its decision to hold graduation for a select few despite the coronavirus outbreak. St. Olaf College in Minnesota postponed general graduation ceremonies until next year, except for students of color, LGBTQIA+, and international students at the end of this semester.
All right, here with reaction is digital reporter at Campus Reform, Eduardo Neret. Eduardo, thanks for coming on to talk about this topic. According to the school, they're having separate ceremonies to celebrate the, quote, awesomeness factor of these select groups, but non-minority students are being denied recognition of a timely graduation. Where is St. Olaf coming from on this?
So the thinking here is that they want to celebrate these students in these groups. Like you said, if you're an international student, if you're an LGBT student, or if you're a student of color, they cited the awesomeness factor of these students to give them a graduation ceremony. But I can't think of anything more insulting and more offensive, frankly, to the rest of the student body at St. Olaf if you've worked 4 years to get your degree and your administration is basically saying to you, well, we think because of these students' race, because of these students' identity, because of these students' sexuality, they're more deserving of a graduation ceremony at this time than you are. It's astounding. It's almost impossible to believe that it's true, but it is. Here's another example of a school that's actually using these characteristics to divide their own student body and create division.
Yeah, really interesting, especially if it's people who would have majored in the same thing. You know, only half of the class, it seems like, could potentially be celebrating an in-person graduation. Kind of makes you think about that. You know, I mean, colleges, their known graduation ceremonies are a big chance to come together and really celebrate an accomplishment for these students. It seems like only a select few are being celebrated.
Well, that's a great point. You know, when I look back at my graduation ceremony, my commencement, and I think most people would agree, is it's a moment where people come together across lines, obviously, to celebrate all the hard work put into a degree. But unfortunately, over the last few years, higher education has been doing things just like this. So at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, we've shown how at other schools, I think Harvard was probably the most notable a few years ago, that had a graduation ceremony just for their Black students and then just for their Latino students. But we're also seeing higher education institutions separate their students in other ways outside of commencement. So, for example, more recently at Indiana University, they held an event on race, and they actually separated students into different rooms based on their skin color. We see campuses have specific dorms just for people of specific ethnicities and backgrounds. And when you think about what a campus is supposed to be, when you think about what our civil rights leaders fought for many decades ago, they fought so we could go to school together, so we could learn together. And it just seems that we're taking a step back here on college campuses.
Yeah, really interesting point there. We appreciate your research. Very fascinating. Eduardo Neret, digital reporter at Campus Reform. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, here's